Your
If
hi
I don't
DMA.
want, oh, that looks weird. I'm loving the backgrounds.
Thank you.
We letting everybody in.
Come on, let them in, please. Look at
Let
this.
us in. Let us in. Hey.
Welcome. Welcome.
Okay. Oh,
Hi, Allison. I like that dance. Come on in, founders and family. Laura dancing it in. I like it. Hi, Tasha. Hi, Samuel. All right, welcome. Come on camera. Let's see your faces. Let's get what? Someone say it. What are we going to get? Let's get
Physical. Physical.
there we
Let's
go.
get physical. Physical. Hips together.
Visible, visible.
Hips together. Give me your pelvis, pelvis. Oh, give me
That's a Laura's theme song. Give me your pelvis. All right. Okay, so here we go. And she stands for relationships, to have intimacy again. So that's awesome. Okay, welcome everyone. We are going to dive in on your wins. And Jimmy, we have a win. I mean, other than these awesome founder backgrounds that you surprised us with, yes to men supporting women. I had no idea this was coming. Thank you, team. We have another win. You're stunted. Okay, we just got off of
One. That's just,
well,
I
that's all that we got off. How do you want to
Okay.
say that? Share it. Share it.
No, go
I'll
ahead.
dance it out while you're sharing it. No.
No worries. So everybody, next week will be our first Africa Rise influencers meeting for all the countries in Africa. We have Dr. Andrea as well as Barbara. I think they're both on here. And then Sam out of South Africa. They will all be leading that, helping us put that together. But we'll have more details here in the next day. We'll have a new where you guys can invite influencers only for that. We have some strategy there to really, really launch that country in a big way. It's a different market, and done right can just help a lot of people. So we have a little. So, anyways, we're very excited about that. Amazing.
Well, that's the win.
Zooms
We'll get out of the weeds and back to the win of that. Thank you, Jimmy. No, I'm just kidding. He's like, I'm super excited. We have someone who was brought to us by Arthur, who isn't on the call right now, but how many of you have met Arthur? And she is a celebrity on the continent in Africa. The show that she's on goes out to over 9 million people. And then, of course, Barbara and Samuel and Dr. Andrea have been holding the mantle. I think I shared with you this Saturday. I was in my tribal body thing with Tara, who you'll meet. And Africa was so on my heart, and the freedom that we get to stand in here, and for women globally and the men who support us. And I don't know if it was the rhythms that we were moving to, but as you all know, very early on, like a third of our room were people located in Africa, doing things in Africa that had never met each other before. And I see that as God calling us there first. I lived in Africa, in Egypt. My daughter's half Egyptian. So this is a long time coming, and we're locked arms together in that. So that's a big win. And we're just off the phone. I'm standing so I can move it all over the place. All right, let's hear some more wins. Give me some wins. Raise your emoji hand. Raise it, or we'll just keep moving. I mean, we could get to work. Yeah,
I want to be
Kim Cross right after you, Alora. Kim Cross.
Okay, good. Can I go?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Africa, I lived in Africa for a year in 1971 in the Peace Corps. And so Africa is part of my life, right? And just 2 days ago, I spoke with Kim and Ed, and they told me they have big corporations with money they want to give away to nonprofits. And I have a woman who has the Water Unity Network, and she's in Africa. I just reached out to her right after the call. I told her that we might be able to get funding, and she told me she's on a watershed revitalization tour in Guinea and going to Senegal and then Uganda. And she says the spirit of Ubuntu, which is a wonderful word, is very present everywhere, and everyone is so grateful for the water messages. So this is someone that I'm going to be definitely sharing this with. And yesterday, Jimmy, you gave me a way to offer the founders program to people. It's such a no-brainer, like $9.97, and you get to go on vacations for that, and you get to give them away. I talked to my realtor yesterday. It's like it's changed the game for me of inviting people. So
Laura, thank you, love. Thank you. And thank you for rooting that in. Kim Cross, let's go. It's been a minute since we've heard from you. Good to see your face.
Been a busy week. I'm so glad that I'm joined today. And I'm not at Chick-fil-A like I was yesterday waiting on my car. But we're getting a lot of feedback from the people that have been getting on these calls from our team, which is awesome because we do a lot of Zooms, you guys, a lot. And we have grown as our company into how do we utilize our company? We're getting good at our company. But now we have to branch out and start to utilize it in other spaces and share our company with the world. And this is what it is doing for our team for sure. It is helping us for sure, but it's so hard to get it through the brains of the people that you're leading, that like, yes, you're growing as a person, you're using this business here to grow as a person. Now start to grow and use your business for other things too. So I think it's all going in sequence and growing and growing and growing.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Give it up for Kim. All right, Justine.
Hey, I'm struggling getting my background, but I'll have it by the end of the meeting, I'm sure. I just want to say I've been reaching out to the Pink Lady Foundation that we met that serves breast cancer early detection in Africa, in Arusha. I really want to get them involved in this. And then the other Nguzo Women and Youth Foundation that we helped bring reusable pads to Tanzania. So I just want to get them in here, and I would like to be part of any planning and all of that, because we have so many ties that are like ready to rock with us in Africa. And so I just wanted to share that and get that off my chest. And I was like, Stella, can you get in this meeting right now? I just was asking her. So
Well, they'll have an influencer meeting,
Yep.
so we'll get you in there. And
Great.
Yeah. All right. Was that it? I covered your face by accident looking at the chat and Dr. Melanie. So I was like, are you done? I can't see. Okay, wonderful.
I do want to say one more thing that just came into me. Remember, I keep saying like, it's not always what's happening in this room, but it's what's extending out. And I am working with an incredible comedian to bring mindfulness and laughter into corporate. And I will be bringing some of that sharing as we go, but it's like an incredible opportunity. And I truly believe it came out of just the expansion that's happening here. That's it.
Justine, you've been like wave on wave on wave. And I want you to notice that people are telling about that they are showing up and they're participating and they're contributing. And yes, Christmas, no, leave it. You're making me want to do something with my hair. Come on, girl, let's go. I'm feeling this. I mean, it's not going to be, I don't think I can do it that great, that fast. Okay, let's go, Melanie. I love it. No, it's one of my favorite hairstyles. Now go ahead. Yes, Melanie.
You're gonna have to teach me what it is, because it's looking quite fun up there what you're doing.
Yeah, fun is where it's at.
I know. So Jimmy, I think you said Samuel was South Africa, but I just have to input Samuel is not South Africa. So Samuel is, I think it's Kenya, right, Samuel? Yeah, Kenya.
We have another Sam.
South Africa.
We have another Sam. Her name is Sam,
Oh.
and she is a celebrity, and she's in South Africa, and she's locked arms with us. So for the continent of Africa. But I love that you stood for him, and you're like, you don't know where our brother's from. I've got his back.
Got his back, but also I also like, for me, being from South Africa, and I just was there in November last year, and I have so many incredible contacts and people that can help with actually taking trips to South Africa. Anyway, so I came in a little late, and you guys know I've just been like, sort of in and out here. So I really want to get involved in this. So I just want to know how I can
Yeah,
be
like I didn't
involved.
even know 32 people in the room, and how many people are already directly connected to Africa in some way that never knew each other before. That's what I call Holy Spirit activating. You call it whatever you want. We all speak from our own language, our own vantage point, but amazing. Okay, last share, and then we're going to bring up our celebrity strategist. Yes,
Well,
Dr.
just
Andrea.
for those people that don't know, I actually grew up in South Africa. So I don't know if everybody knows that, but that's where I'm
I
from.
didn't know it before then, which is why I'm like, whoa, look at, there is definitely a calling to
Yeah,
freaking
yeah. And now live in LA. And how do we bridge the gap? So, okay, cool. So let me know.
You are in. You are in. Justine, you're in. Everybody who wants to be a part of that and you feel connected to that will get you into the, you are in our inner circle, and we will do it together. And God is calling that and orchestrating that. Again, I use the words that resonate with my spirit. You use your words. Yes, Dr. Andrea.
Wow, this win is a big win. First, because I even got emotional, because when I thought of Barbara, it was because I was like, we needed to have this African Divas Africa division. So to me, it's a big win because it started with the vision of connecting to Barbara and Patience, which is not here. But at the second win, Patience, she sent me a text message saying that she has contacts with TV in Zambia, South Africa, Kenya, and Ghana, and that she's ready to put everybody in contact with you and Jimmy, Adora. So it's a big, big win. I have Nigeria, my roots. I'm from Brazil, but I have my roots from Nigeria and Benin. So for me, this is more than a connection. This is going back to my ancestrality as well. So it's very powerful to me.
Let me
Thank you.
just say, and I
And
want to
you are the reason I'm doing that. You are the reason. So I'm grateful to you because it was your vision that allowed this to be manifesting now. So I love you. Thank you.
I love you. And here's what I want to demonstrate for all of you. How many of you have a movement in your heart? How many of you have a movement in your heart? Yes, that's why you're here, because part of our movement was drawing all the people with a movement in their heart and getting behind them so that we can unleash together. And what we're witnessing together is that when you have that intentionality and you surrender and you do the work and you show up, that the whole universe, God moves, aligns with you. And this is our movement. And many of you already felt this calling, and Africa was the first one on the, that was like, pick me, we're going there by people, like the people in the room. But that is true for your own movement too. And I want you to let this feed your faith and feed your vision, that the vision that was planted in you is for you, and no one else can do what you're meant to do in your part, and that you're not a drop alone. Look at the wave. Do you see? It's not Adora doing this it's a wave of people that have a shared vision. And the same thing, your part, that calling that's planted in your soul is, I'm going to use my words, God will finish what he started in you, right? And you just show up, and we show up together. And this is one of many waves, because Africa isn't the only wave. It's a huge one, and it's the one we're going, but it's all of the callings to here. And we have to plant flags in places that feed our faith, right? And you get your faith by what you see, what you receive, what you're willing to celebrate and acknowledge and witness and be a part of. And you're a part of this historic moment together. And it's because that same wave that was planted in you and that same calling, it's happening. It's not going to happen. It's happening. Okay. All right. And speaking of how it's going to happen, we've got one of the most heart-centered, freaking amazing strategists on the planet. All right. Disney still uses her software, her invention. I always mix up the words. Okay. But HR hiring Disney. She did it. Okay. The city of Los Angeles is a client. Stanford is a client. Netflix has been a client. She was an executive for BET. Her data and the way she was able to see things is the reason Real House Husbands of Hollywood happened with Kevin Hart. She's we're seeing her 6-figure a month strategy. I mean, just think about what it would take, what it takes for companies who love her. One of them said, the reason we love you is what we've been trying to do for 4 years, investing money and investing time, investing staff. You came in, got us aligned, and we had it done in 30 days. So when I say she has a heart for solopreneurs and small businesses to have that same high level strategy so that she can get behind your callings and clear the clutter, make it simple. And so she's not only one of our lead strategists and our advisory team here at the DIVA Network, but guess we're strategizing your results. Just so you know, what are we strategizing? Not making $1 billion. We're strategizing the change of the planet through your results and through your callings. And now she's here to help you strategize that, turn that decision into reality. So who's ready? Who's ready? All right. I thought we were sleeping. All right, let's go ahead and spotlight DMA. DMA, thank you so much. And we can add 10 minutes more because we went over.
Oh,
Okay.
wonderful, wonderful. Hi,
Before we
everybody.
go-
It
Yeah.
is so wonderful to see everybody, and I've been following with the comments and just seeing everyone's cup getting filled, talking about impact, talking about energy, talking about where are you directing the energy. I was most taken by the whole conversation about where are your likes and comments going online. So what I love about what I've been following remotely is how much heart has gone into the past weeks. And now we're going to take that heart and apply it once again and always to execution. One of my favorite quotes for a client that helped get us deeply unstuck was, it's not that there's something in the way of what you're doing, it's all that you're doing instead. So the word instead is what we want you to really, really focus on. What did you do last week in direct service to the outcome for your customer, for your client, for your target or service population? And those aren't big executions. Those are little executions that give you big outcomes. Why? Because if I'm concentrating on big executions, all of my energy is going into infrastructure instead of change. So let's go back to that beautiful flow that the first thing we wanted to do was have direct conversations with our team members, if we have teams, with our customers, the people we're trying to serve, and talk about their vision for their life as opposed to about the idea that we had. And this was over a week ago. So in the comments, let's take 60 seconds. Please, everyone who had a customer conversation about where they were trying to go, just make a post in the comment. It doesn't matter if it was 1 or 20. What was the customer conversation? What was the customer conversation? And what was the outcome of it? And I want to do that just peacefully in the chat. And then I'm going to read a couple from there to have some one-on-one. But please, everyone, if you didn't have a customer conversation, please post why you did not. Maybe you didn't know how to find a customer, or you didn't go to forums to look for their voices, etc. So please go into the chat. I'm seeing one thing from Alora. Thank you. So yeah, and we're really talking about those folks whose outcomes you are trying to change. And if no one had customer conversations, then got it, Abigail. So right now, the customer isn't someone who buys from you. The customer is the person whose life you're trying to change. Let's just reframe all of these beautiful ideas you have for companies and initiatives and processes and services are in service to changing someone's life. Okay, so it sounds like, go ahead and take the spotlight off of me for 1 second. I think we have to revisit the message. If you have been moving forward with your executions and haven't had conversations with the people your lives are trying to change, you are not moving at your optimum pace. You're not moving at your optimum pace. Savita, let's have a quick check-in with Savita. Sorry. Your goal right now is a newsletter. I'm just trying to, can we spotlight Savita and me for 1 second, please? Hi, Savita. Fantastic. Okay, and if you can unmute for 1 second. So you had a vision for visibility to create a newsletter. Am I understanding correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and when you had the conversation with the customers, where were some of them trying to go in their life, completely independent from your newsletter? What were some of the things they were trying to achieve in their lives? Excuse me.
A lot of people are concerned about what's going on in the economy as far as inflation and how, just to make better decisions with their money. So for me, it was just diving in and just asking those simple questions because I know finances is not something that people like to talk about a lot. I just wanted to make it like, hey, I'm your girlfriend, you can talk to me. So that was my goal and purpose.
I love it. Did you talk to them about where they were trying to go in addition to things that they were concerned about? Did you have a vision conversation?
I had one with one of my girlfriends, and she was saying she wanted to invest, but she was just afraid. So that was the one conversation that I did have.
I love that. So when you're having those conversations, everyone, Savita, when someone comes back to you and they're still in process phase, I want to invest, love that. If you invest, then what will happen? Because you're trying to get them into a blue sky outcome, and they're staying kind of in what I call the sandwich cookie layer of the understanding of the steps I'm going to take. And we want to move people as high as possible to, if you take that step, then what? If you take that step, then what? Those blue skies are going to give you so much material for the newsletter, because then you can be unlimited in terms of what they understand to even ask questions about. Because this is your area of expertise. If you can get to their blue skies, there could be 15, 20 ways that you could approach that they don't even know to ask you about. Tell me, when I say that, what does that spark for you?
I don't have to work so hard because they're giving me exactly what they need. So I'm
Yes. I love it. You are in solution mode. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm seeing Melanie had a conversation on Facebook. Let's hear that blue sky conversation.
You want me to share what my video is about?
You said you had a conversation on Facebook?
Or when I say a conversation, I was saying, does it qualify if I did a live video in the hopes that it would reach people and impact?
No, the conversations we first want to have, I love that because that's an activation. But ideally, you've had a conversation with the people whose lives you're trying to impact before you produce the video. So you really understand their vision for their life. And then you're creating content that will amplify and accelerate that vision. Does that resonate?
I just want to add that Melanie was off a little bit when the fires were going. She was serving with the kids. So she just jumped in and did video in response to our assignments. So there may be a little crossover there.
Yes.
Yeah.
No. Melanie, stay with us. That's great background. Melanie, whose life were you hoping to change with the video that you broadcast on Facebook?
So the lives that I would hope to change are, I think the conversation that we had a couple of days ago was about visibility, and that we, like if we aren't visible, if we don't show up, if we don't speak up, who are we not impacting? What's not going to happen? And so my video was really about that. It was about just having the courage to speak up and be visible. And I basically told the story of, I don't know if you know the starfish story, that, sometimes we play small, or we really, and we want, or we want to just impact like all of these lives. But really what's important is that we just speak up and do what we do, one person at a time, because it matters to that one person. So I just had told the starfish story.
And in
then
your heart, who listened and service to what vision for their life?
Okay, so in my heart, who is listening is the would be the person who is feeling like what they're saying doesn't matter, what they're sharing is not important, you know, that they're worried about feedback, that they're going to get negative feedback, and so they don't want that, it's going to shut them down. And so that's sort of what I've been working on, is just recognizing that I can't please all the people all the time, but I can please some of the people some of the time, and that my message is intended for those people that are going to be impacted by what I say, even if not everybody's going to like it. And then I'm also a mentor facilitator in Lisa Nichols's program. And so she did a couple of days. And so I was on, so my chat was happening, my voice, I was voicing in the chat of what I was saying, you know, so the chat box in an event that she was having as one of the mentors or facilitators. So it's for people that are wanting to step out into the world and make an impact, and both model for and also be a stand for doing what Brianna was talking about 2 days ago.
All right. And so
Just becoming visible. And so the courage to be visible. I'm sorry, that was a very long answer.
no, that's okay. One of the things that is going to help amplify your impact is saying, what I'd love to do is give people courage, but what I first want to do is hear where they're trying to go and what their obstacles are. Because while courage is wonderful, you could be in service to people who have courage, but actually need something else. That's what the customer conversation is going to shift you and elevate you into, which is, I have an idea of what's going to help people start speaking up and feeling that they're visible and having impact. But until I go out and qualify that, to use a sales term, until I've listened to the hearts and dreams of the people whose lives I want to change, I'm operating from a very narrow space. Does that resonate? So I actually think you've got, you know, an incredible audience here in this group, and certainly at the greater DIVA Network community at large. And maybe just doing that survey amongst everyone is going to help everyone here get an example of, if I can keep pushing people to this time next year, what does amazing look like? Then I can go back into my toolkit, into my lab, and I can start thinking based on my skill set, my network, my relationships. Wow, that would be incredible. All right, thank you very, very much, Melanie. All right, so let's talk practically about how we're going to keep executing with this. I'm looking at some of the folks, I'm looking at Christmas, who's talking about someone who was trying to remove friction in the fashion industry. I was in that industry for some time. There's a lot of friction. And then Christmas, the opportunity is to keep asking, to say removal is working against something. But what's he working towards? Is he working towards a world in which everyone is fly? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that vision is where all of your limitlessness just resonates. As I do this work with clients day after day after day, as everyone knows, I use Corgi boards for this because I want a single source of truth for all of the work that I'm doing. And so if you'll recall, I'm just going to share this early version of the template. Is everyone seeing the DIVA Network challenge sheet? It's blue and white. So if you'll remember, I had built out, as examples of how I use it, all of my shortcuts live in a board column. So this is links to, you know, recordings and to chats and to the websites for the folks. Ultimately, I just added the link to the session calendar, so I could just jump in there and get to any session I want. Thank you, Jennifer, as quickly as possible. And if I don't need to see something, I'm just going to collapse that because I want people to feel focused. Then I have, in terms of my tasks or to-dos, right? I have gone through and done each of these things. I can check those off. And where we last ended up, where you were going to do those two critical things, customer conversations and authentic pipeline research. And these were some of the questions that you were going to ask so you could get to that MVP, the small execution that's going to get you these big, huge outcomes. So let's talk about, and if you're new, everyone, we're going to repost. That's a great question, Adora. We'll repost the link to the DIVA Network signups for Corgi, for the folks who were new and haven't yet had a chance to take a look at the video. So Justine, when we're talking about the surveys, not necessarily great comment, an external survey, but a customer conversation, whether that's going to be directly calling folks because you know people, remember we talked about going to Reddit, going to Quora, going into Facebook groups, going into the places that the people exist that you are trying to change the lives of to get that information. Everyone, if you've refreshed Corgi, your trials all ended on the 97th day. Christmas, will you do me a favor? If you haven't logged into Corgi, will you refresh and I'll show you guys. You should be there until I think May 8th was day 97. Does everyone see up here? This is where you're going to see your trial and you can always click there to get more information. Justine, you have a question. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you. I guess my question about surveys was to instigate. I see what you're saying, the direct conversations. I guess I'm just finding that I have a lot of conversations with clients every day. And so I'm downloading information, and what I'm hearing from my clients is they want to reclaim their voices. They want to find out what's been stopping them. Their
Great.
vision is to use their voices. A lot of times that's in voiceover. But these conversations I'm having all the time. I think aggregating the information is still where I need to get, right? And I guess
Let's do it.
So that's why I was asking
Yeah,
about
okay.
surveys.
So you're having the conversation, you're hearing the vision is very consistent, which is, first of all, very helpful. That's not always the case. Okay, what resources would help them get their voices out there? What's one that they're articulating that they believe would be useful? There's what you understand, but the listening point, what's a resource they think would be useful for them?
To actually figure out what's stopping them. So taking them deep into figuring out what's holding them back. What's the block?
So a resource would be some type of tool that would help them analyze their self, sabotage.
I mean, training, I working with me, I feel like I'm the resource.
Well, you might be the offering of the resource, but let's get it articulated. When they're talking about that, have you directly asked what their perception is of the resources that are missing in order for them to?
I just need to pop in for a minute. We have about 7 minutes till VIP, and what's been brought to my attention in the chat is if you're brand new to this conversation, we had DMA come in our pre-game before we started, and she gifted a software, a technology that she created to download everything she does for these big clients and to make it easier for the solopreneur and smaller business to create and track results in a clear space. And so she gifted 97 days to those of you who are with us here, or now it's 79 days left. So you can find that. Jen will put in the chat where to go find your video about it and your
link again, you guys, if you just want to.
Okay, so it's in the chat. So to catch you up, this is a tool that we'll do more training on, but we're using it here at the DIVA Network and at Dining Empire to help us all stay on the same page and more organized. So we always give you our gifts, and then we're leaning into DMA's thought leadership of outcomes over process. So customer outcome over process. And so we have 6 minutes. Okay.
Wonderful. And for everyone who's new, what Jennifer just posted will also take you to the video from that session, so you can catch up on that entire session, which included starting your boards, how to use it, etc. And I think that will be helpful if you're new. The goal of Corgi is to create a single platform that you can manage all of this work from, so you're not spending your time jumping through tabs and windows and devices, but all of your links, all of those emails, all of your calendar appointments and more, it sits on top of your Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 accounts and stores everything to Google Workspace for you. So everyone, your trials have been extended. If you haven't logged in since you got a notice, please let me know how that's going. Abigail, Thank you for that. We're going to come to you in a second. But for everyone who hasn't logged in since the trials were extended, I'm seeing Allison, I'm seeing Christmas. Can you please confirm that you're logged in and you're not seeing the problem? Thank you, Christmas. All right. I'm loving, Justine. We're going to keep going because, Justine, I think everyone is going to benefit from exactly these things. So when you're having the conversations about where they're trying to go, you're literally going to ask them in their mind, what resource do they need? And you're going to write that down. Because what they perceive, that doesn't mean it's going to work, but that perception is where your buy-in is going to come. It's where it's going to make them feel, it's going to give you messaging. It's going to give you an idea, it's going to give you a way to articulate something so they feel that they're part of it too, that they have been part of the solution. After they've talked about what resources they think would help them get there, you're going to ask what friction is getting in the way. That whole conversation in this chat about gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is when people who have access to the resources people think that you need are being perceived as keeping other people from getting access to the same resources. The listening to what they believe the friction is your currency to a solution that they will be able to embrace. So you have to hear them say, even if it's not the case, there are no jobs anymore. Well, of course there are jobs. There are sadly millions of jobs. But if they believe there are not jobs, then you understand that part of that might even be as simple as, I'm going to post a list of 50 jobs this week. And boom, you've cracked something open for them. But if you haven't heard their perception of the frictions, then you can't let them perceive you are removing the friction. And then finally, what gaps need to be filled for you to get where I'm trying to go? Those are the three magic questions. That's where your solutions lie, and that is where your messaging will lie. If you are talking about what you think matters instead of what they're telling you matters, you're creating a gap in communication that you don't need to butt up against. Listen to their language, use their language, act on their language. That doesn't mean you're going to come up with a solution they've decided on. You're going to come up with a solution your expertise tells you is going to solve their problems, but their perception is a huge part of your ability to convince them this is going to get them where they're trying to go. Does that resonate, Justine?
It does. It's very simple. I feel like I know how to do it when I'm selling our voiceover packages in my masterclass for voiceover, because that gets to very tactical things. I think there's too much competition. I think there's too many people in my category. What's more difficult when it's more amorphous, like I want to use my voice to speak my purpose. I mean, do I need to get specific? Like, what do you want to do with your voice? Get on stages, sell products?
No.
Okay.
3 questions. What resource would you need? These are all open-ended questions.
I got it.
I get it. When you fill in the blanks, you limit your possibility. I totally get it. I love it. Got it. Does that make sense? You're going to listen.
It does. It's just a little, when you're talking about something like a voice, it's still a little.
Can you say the 3 questions again?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Justine, I love that you just said that. Where are you trying to go in the highest possible? Go ahead, Justine.
What resource do you need? What friction is getting in your way? And do I ask what gap needs to be filled?
Yes, all 3 of those questions.
Okay.
What resources do you need? What frictions need to be removed? What gaps need to be filled? If you ask those open-ended questions, fireworks. Fireworks. All right, let's go back to, I'm seeing Kim and Savita. I love it so much. I've already put Savita on the hot seat. Kim, can you let's bring Kim up for 1 second. Allison is back in. Thank you guys so much.
Well, and then can we take the rest of them in VIP? They are VIP, so we're.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
VIP room.
Who is using Corgi that is not going to continue into VIP, because I want to make sure someone who's used, I can't put you back on. Abigail, is Abigail VIP? I'm loving that the VIP
is VIP. Yes, Abigail is VIP.
In that instance, let's just go through with any last questions before, I know we're about to switch out in 60 seconds. Is there any final question from the folks who are about to go back to their work and not continue into the second half of the session? Mark, so happy you're signing up. Make sure you guys watch that video. It's going to make it very easier and we have a 2-minute onboarding. Allison, last
If you
question
don't
goes
watch
to
the
you.
video, you may do it in a weird way that then you have to touch customer support and reach out to them. So watch the video, please.
Watch the video. Allison, you get the last question. How are you using Corgi? What's one way it's working? What's a way we could help you get more powerful with the board?
Technology just freaks me out. And I started with it and then I messed something up and it's all messed up because if anyone can mess up something simple.
Well, we
You-
may just do a
Technology.
Corgi work session. Like maybe we'll do a pop-up Corgi, just for Corgi where people can ask their questions
Yeah.
and stuff like
That
that.
was great.
Yeah.
Allison, let me give you one piece of mind around Corgi and why we built it this way. You literally cannot mess it up. The board doesn't
Okay.
exist. It's all a dream. It's really just a Google sheet that's being visualized as a board. Everything you're doing is being stored to a Google sheet in your drive, and you can always restore to an earlier version of the sheet. So we'll
Okay.
set up something to help you do that, but I want you guys to feel peace of mind. You cannot mess it up. You can only play around with it. As they say, move fast and break things. You're doing the right thing. If you were fearless enough to move fast and break things, we'll get you fixed.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so Allison, you can also respond to support in Corgi with any questions in the meantime, okay? So
Okay.
we're gonna,
Thank you.
those of you who are, thank you, Allison. Give it up for Allison for being brave.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for sharing.
So a couple things. Those of you who are founding members or VIP, you have the link to go ahead and go into that room where DMA will continue and we'll ask questions and hot seat. Those of you who want to know what it is to become a member so that you have more time with us, more eyes, more of the offerings that we have, feel free to stay in this room. Jimmy is here, the president of the DIVA Network, who gave us the gift of these cool things. And he will answer your questions, let you know, just help you work through anything that may be rolling around in your mind. Like, do you belong? Yes, you belong. But anyway, I'll leave it to Jimmy and we're going to see you in the other room. All right. So everybody else, you're going to our other room, our VIP room, and we'll see you over
All right.
there.
All of our guests, stay in this room, please. Love to help you help answer any questions you may have. Such an exciting session. Those VIPs are going to love what DMA does with them. So that's going to be awesome.
Jimmy, I'm leaving the room, but I want to get with you the way Alora did. So